Just a short drive from downtown Tampa, there's a place where you can take an easy hike along some classic Florida scenery to see some of the only river rapids in the state. Let's check it out and take a walk around Hillsborough River State Park.
Hey, Andy here, and today I am here at beautiful Hillsborough River State Park. This is an awesome spot, very close to Tampa, really close to the interstate, so it's easy for everybody to access. And it is one of my favorite spots for hiking, for wildlife viewing, lots of gators right here along the river. And it's one of only 2 spots in Florida where you can see whitewater rapids on a river in Florida. A lot of people don't know that in such a flat state there are actually a couple places that have rapids. And let's go take a hike and see if we can find them.
This park is about 20 miles northeast of downtown Tampa in the town of Sassa. Entry to the park is $6 per vehicle, and they are open 365 days a year. It's 8.5 square miles of well-preserved Florida wilderness with over 7 miles of hiking trails, a large campground, and a teeny tiny little museum that explains some of the park's history during the Second Seminole War. And of course, the Hillsborough River winds right through it, that's open for paddling, fishing, and wildlife viewing. This park was established in 1935 as one of Florida's original 8 state parks, and was chosen for being one of only 2 places in Florida with river rapids. The other one being Big Shoals State Park up on the Suwannee River in the northern part of the state. We're going to make it to those rapids soon, but let's go explore a little bit more of the park first. And immediately, the views here do not disappoint. Just look at that. That is the stereotypical Florida wilderness view that you come out to these state parks to see. And gators are definitely a thing in this park. I have a feeling we may find a few while we're here today. Let's go take a walk down to the kayak launch. You can bring your own, or if you don't have one, you can rent one here. A single kayak is $30, a tandem is $40, or a canoe is $40, and that'll give you 2 hours on the water. And you can rent bikes and ride them around the paved trail that loops the entire park. This is a really great park for bass fishing too. Just walking along the river and looking in, the water was really clear and I could see lots of largemouth bass swimming around in there. And that bobber hanging from the tree there, that wasn't me this time, but that's definitely something I'm guilty of doing.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Wild coffee. I had no idea wild coffee grew in Florida. First time I've ever seen this. It's recognized as coffee, if not as mountain grown. I wonder if it tastes good. That'd be interesting to try wild grown Florida coffee like in some local restaurant. This trail here is called the Rapids Trail. It's one of the easiest trails to maneuver here at Hillsborough River State Park, and it's awesome. Look at these views. You're walking along, right along the river here. There's a series of boardwalks here that make it really easy to walk on. You could take your kids out here. You could see alligators, wildlife. No alligators today yet, but hopefully we will. The day is young.
This really cool tree is one of my favorite things along the Rapids Trail. Very interesting, very cool. It hangs out over the water and kind of reminds me of like a giant bonsai tree or something. And just below it is a really great spot to go fishing, to see alligators, or just kind of hang out and look at the really clear water. And while I continue to make my way along the boardwalks here, I notice a group of people ahead looking at the river and pointing. And when a bunch of people are pointing at the river in Florida, that usually can only mean one thing.
First gator sighting of the day. Pretty good size one right across the river here.
There were actually 2 of them at this spot. This one had a buddy laying on a log just a little bit down the river. I don't think I've ever come to this park and didn't see at least one gator. They are really common here.
Up ahead here, we're going to walk to the famous suspension bridge and walk across that. The thing was built back in the 30s, I want to say, and it actually still survived after a few hurricanes. There's another bridge back there that it's damaged. It's been damaged since Hurricane Irma, so that's been a few years. I don't know if they're ever going to get that back up and running because it has been down for a while. But we're going to go up ahead here, walk over this bridge, and check out the rapids. I know it looks like we're deep in the jungle here, but we're really not. The parking lot is only maybe a couple hundred yards away. The Rapids Trail is really, really cool because you park and you've got a very short walk, and then the entire time is just views like this. Very clear river. You can see people on the other side over there. That, I believe, is called the Baynard Trail or the Banyard Trail. It's about a mile long, if I remember. Pretty easy hike. There's another one called the Florida Trail. That's about 3 miles or so. It's a fairly tough 3 miles. There's a lot of roots and stumps and uneven terrain and a lot of mud. Went through a section there once and there was so much mud that I was like stuck in a quagmire over there trying to get out. Luckily I wasn't wearing new shoes, but I won't do that Florida Trail anymore unless I've got the right shoes for it or know that it's been dry. And it rained a lot last night. For the first time in a while, we've had a little bit of a drought, and last night we got quite a good thunderstorm came through, which we definitely needed. But I bet that means that trail is muddy.
And here is the famous Hillsborough River Suspension Bridge. You do need to cross it to get to the other hiking trails in the park, but you don't need to cross it to get to the rapids. The rapids are going to be right here along the Rapids Trail. But I definitely recommend going up there and crossing it just for a minute to take a peek around because it is an awesome view from up there. And this might be one of my very favorite vantage points in the park. There's this overhang that sticks out over the water from the boardwalks that gives this great panoramic view of the river. It is a classic Florida river scene with the trees and the water, and it smells really good right here. If you know, you know. It's that wet wood being churned up by the river, and I just love it. But I promised we'd go to the rapids on this river, so let's head there next. And there they are, one of only 2 river rapids in the entire state of Florida, and the only Class 2 rapids in the state of Florida. I know what you're thinking, not exactly the raging Colorado River, not exactly a river that you could go take a whitewater rafting tour down, but for Florida, this is actually quite the thing. We think of our rivers as slow, swampy, black water, full of gators. And if you took a picture of that and sent it to somebody and asked them, what state is this in? I bet you it would take a long time before someone got to Florida. Well, I hope you had fun coming along with me on my trip out here to Hillsborough River State Park. I really love showing it to you. It's a great spot just outside Tampa, so it's really easy to reach for a lot of people. It's not too far off of Interstate I-75 either. And I like this as a place to take out-of-towners, people who want to see like real Florida wilderness and see alligators in the river and the rapids. That's a very unique Florida thing. And if you like this kind of stuff and want to learn about more fun things to do in Florida, from the theme parks to the state parks, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment telling me if you've ever been to this park, and share it with one other person who you think might want to see this kind of stuff. It really helps the channel. I appreciate it a lot, and we will talk to you next time.